Well, this is the iconic animal really, isn't it? Even though it's been extinct here for at least 11,000 years.
Yeah.
It is the iconic animal. You go up to Stormont and you look at the gateposts at Stormont, they have a giant deer heads carved into them.
Yeah. I kind of think back to the days of my childhood whenever I used to come to the museum here and they had that fantastic, which they still have, the skeleton of the giant deer. You know, even then I was often thought, what would that look like if it actually had fur and, you know, was an actual animal? Look at the size of it, it's massive.
Yeah. These are some of the very earliest animals to crawl out on land.
Even the dinosaurs were relatively recent compared to...
Yeah, these are kind of 100 million years or more before the dinosaurs. Yeah, more than 100 million years. These are quite a challenge really to paint because all you've got to go on is footprints. This is a millipede known only from trackways up near Cushendall, and it was big. It was like 1/2 metre long, 10 centimetres wide.
Well, I felt it was important that I should see those little footprints in the rock, so you described precisely where they should be. I walked to the spot and there they were. It was, you know, but they're not easy to find.
This is the tetrapod, of course, isn't it? Which just means 4 feet. And there's this amazing trackway on Valencia Island, which you've been to Valencia Island trackway?
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times.
Yeah, because that's just amazing. It's the most important fossil anywhere in Ireland, without a shadow of doubt. You made the toes very clear on that, and that's an important part of that.
Yeah, the huge number of toes.
Yeah, 8
particularly
toes,
the front
8 fingers, 8
feet.
toes. Yeah. I like the fact that you've got the plesiosaur is this kind of murky thing in the background, and that's in terms of the fossils we find at White Part Bay. We find loads of devil's toenails, and if you're lucky, you find a nice ammonite. But the only evidence we've got of plesiosaurs is one pebble with a few bits of bone in it. We vaguely know they're there, and so your painting is sort of, we vaguely know they're there. I think it sums up the fossil evidence rather nicely. And of course, those are the fossils that are living in the sea, but we also have the amazing find by the late Roger Byrne of 2 bone fragments from dinosaurs. And these are early Jurassic as well, they're about 200 million years old. And we concluded that one of them was from a dinosaur that may well have been Scelidosaurus, and that's the 4-legged plant-eating one, which we've got amazingly good skeletons. But the other one is a 2-legged meat-eating dinosaur, and all we've got is one fragment of bone.
This is the first one I did?
Yes.
And I was thinking ostrich.
Because when you see ostriches and emus and things like that, and you just think, just a dinosaur really, isn't it?
Was it Life on Earth that David Attenborough's show way back whenever it came out? First of all, you know, it came to a bit about lemurs and said lemurs actually jump around on 2 legs. You know, they become a 2-legged animal. Oh my God, a 2-legged animal! And I thought, oh, hold on a minute, birds have been doing that for forever.
Yes.
Then the feathers it might be a reasonably recent discovery, but when you think about it, if they are essentially birds, or birds are essentially dinosaurs, there's you know, feathers go back a long way. I mean, these were great to do.
And I really like this one. This was the first one you ever showed me, and I was sort of vaguely aware of you, but I wasn't really familiar with any of your work. And you came to see me, and you just showed me this picture on your phone, and I just thought, oh my goodness, this guy can paint, you know, because I just think it's fantastic. I still think this is one of the best of all, because it really brings to life a long dead bird.
So, was this a bit cheeky painting this stuff?
It was, but it was perfectly justified. I think you fancied painting a saber-toothed cat.
I did, I wanted to do a saber-toothed cat, yeah. So we've got no evidence for it in Ireland, but it could have been here.
Yeah.
And that applies to all these, so we've got hippo, straight-tusked elephant, woolly rhino, and cave lion.
So the cave lion, the saber-toothed cat, these are all things from quite a long way back. They might have been here, but we just don't know. But the one animal that I think almost certainly was here was the woolly rhino. It was very popular in England. Sort of like 25,000 years ago, even when it was really, really cold. So it could have got over here and it would have been quite happy with the conditions when it was quite cold. But we just haven't found them. And this is the thing about fossils, Ice Age fossils, is that it's just luck more than anything else. If it weren't for one cave in Cork, we know nothing about the hyenas. And then there's the wolves and the giant deer, and these are animals that are found in this one cave in County Cork. We've got giant deer. And the giant deer is not an animal to frequent caves. is being dragged in there by hyenas or wolves, by predators. We must talk about this one, because this one I could have effectively commissioned you to paint this, didn't I?
Yes.
So this is this marvellous thing. It's the well shrimp called Niphagus, and it's this blind cave shrimp that's 4 or 5 millimetres long, and it lives in total darkness in the groundwater beneath the Irish Midlands. I remember saying to you, I could paint just as good a painting of it as you, because it'd be a totally black canvas, because it doesn't see the light of day. And so I sent you some pictures of cave passages, because what happens as water flows past the limestone in a cave, it forms these scallops. So you've got this beautiful sort of scalloped scoop, all these scoops taken out of the wall, you see.
I thought at the time, that just looks too, it just doesn't look real.
To me, when I go into caves, they're the most beautiful part of the caves, because they're telling us things about what direction the water was going and how fast it was going. I think over the years, quite a lot of people have painted the Monarch Glen, and I think that's how people expect to see it. And that, I think, is beautiful, because that's how a lot of them ended up.
It's like, I love that sort of thing, where you have to just imagine the tableau, imagine the scene, imagine what's going on, then base everything on imagination.
You've got inside the head of the deer, as it were, because that sort of tide line where it's waving its head around, and it's kind of got dipped in the mud, and it's got bits of gloop sort of hanging off its antler. It's obviously realises it's in a tricky situation.
Yes, and nobody around to help, of course.
No.
The painting has to be a kind of, what would you call it, a combination of art and science?
Oh, very much so, because I think if it's too much kind of hard science in it, it removes a lot of the interest for sort of people. You've got to make it accessible, as it were.
In the case of the Great Auk, this is the Skerries up the islands off Portrush, where 2 or 3 different people have said over the years that it's quite possible the Great Auk would have bred there, because it would be easy for it to walk out of the sea. It's a bird that can fly.
An ideal spot for them, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I thought, okay, I'll go out to the Skerries, take a few photographs, do a few sketches. It was September when I went there. Came back, put the picture together, then thought, okay, if they're going to be there breeding, it's going to be round about the solstice. So I thought, okay, it'll be the summer solstice. Where would the sunlight be going? I thought that I like the idea of it, the sun setting on the Great Auk.
Yes, actually it is. I think it's superb. It's the sun, so they don't realise that the sun is setting on the...
So the sun's streaming across from the northwest and catching the last of the Great Auk. Wildlife painting has kind of a reputation, I suppose, as being not necessarily pure art, but it's more illustrative than that, and because obviously there's a limit to how far you could abstract a scene to the point where it becomes just you don't know the species. Or I've always been slightly disinclined to describe myself as an artist, more as a painter.
We're a very good painter. The first love, I suppose, is birds, isn't it?
Yes, so if I go back a bit, I was in art college. I went to art college for 12 weeks. That was enough. I didn't like it at all, didn't get on very well. So I thought, I'm going to be an artist now, that's it. Very, very naively. Painted a few little sort of landscapey things, took them to a gallery in Bangor. To cut a long story short, he dismissed them all, except a couple of pictures of birds. He decided to take them. He sold them subsequently and wanted more. And so all of a sudden I was a bird painter. I think that had come from a kind of a love of birds from way back when I was, my dad was quite interested in them as well, and I suppose that kind of rubbed off. I was a member of the YOC, which used to meet here in the museum way back in the 60s.
Young
Ornithologist Club.
Yes.
It was great. It was great old days, because it was also kind of romantic. There was a sort of romance to it, and it was these, birds that exist out there somewhere but have never seen except in the Observer's Book of Birds.
Yes.
We used to go on holiday in Tipperary every year to where my mother came from, and every year we'd arrive, go out for a little walk, and my dad would spot a kingfisher in the local river. Yeah. Nobody else ever saw it. He was always, kingfisher, it's gone.
That's it, it's so fast.
But he got so excited about it, And then, of course, when I did see a kingfisher, it was amazing. Nearly all the paintings I've ever done, I've generally tried to exclude humans from them, you know, so they are kind of timeless up to a point.
Yes, yes.
Which, whenever I think about it, well, I'm not sure what that would be, except perhaps, you know, trying to recreate that old romance that I talked about, you know.
Yes.
So this is why this whole project is really suited, you know. So really love doing it.
Flies, nobody paints flies really, do they? But they should do.
I think there should be more flies painted. This very specific little time, this sort of window of time in the year, they all suddenly emerge as adults for not very long.
And then all the fish go mad, and all the anglers go mad as well. But
so it's you know, it's like a festival. It's a fantastic time for the river, and it's something that's happening less and less these days.
Yeah, rather than being great clouds of them, it's just, you know, relatively small numbers.
Yeah, and generally speaking, it's the insects disappearing or something that you don't really notice so much. I suppose the Loch Ness fly is a classic example of that. You know, that it used to be something you certainly did notice.
How long does it take to paint one of these?
If things are going really well, it's surprisingly quick. And a painting like this, for example, you know, there's different elements to it. So there's the background. That needs a bit of study. You just need to get things right. So obviously the cat itself is a different issue. So I went to various places to see the cat itself, and lots of photographs, and build all that up. So once you've got the information, that takes quite a long time to put all that together. You know, there's sketches, photographs, and bits and pieces. The painting is planned. The actual painting time of the picture, well, it's really very quick. It could be, you know, a couple of weeks. The nature of oil paint is such that, at least the way that I work, would be in layers. So put a layer down, a kind of a cartoon, as it used to be called, a drawing of the whole thing, and then that's allowed to dry, and subsequent layers then laid on top. So as I say, whenever it's going really well, everything works. Whenever it's not going well, you think, oh no, that's, you know, the colour's wrong or something's wrong, need to change that, and then that's painted. Again, the nature of oil paint is that you can work over the top of it.
You're always telling me you're constantly tweaking them and fiddling with them.
If they lie in the studio for too long, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
They have to go. They have to go out.
Yes. Yeah.
As a result, there's, you know, I look around and think, there's none of them that I probably wouldn't still tweak.